Hi boys and girls, welcome to Everyday Math Lesson 11.3, the Trade First Subtraction Algorithm. The materials that you'll need: your pencil, math journal, and your template. Let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is go over our math boxes from the previous lesson. So if you can open your math journal to page 268, if you notice that you have any wrong, please fix those mistakes with your pencil and your eraser. So for question number 1, solve and show your work. If we have 47 minus 39, notice how I needed to borrow from the 4. So I changed my 4 to a 3. Now this 7 becomes a 17. Now I can subtract 17 minus 9, which equals 8. For question number 2, what is the minimum number or the smallest number from the list? And you should have had 429. For question number 3, what shape is a globe? And the best answer would be a sphere. For question number 4, 20 campers are divided equally among 4 tents. How many campers in each tent? So what I did is I took my 20 campers and I divided those into 5 equal groups. Notice how in each of the groups there are 4. So my answer is 4 campers. For question number 5, fill in the missing numbers. So the first number was 1064, and then they gave us 1065. In our second row, we had 1073. They gave us 1074. Then we have 1075, followed by 1076. And then right underneath 1075, notice how I'm increasing by 10. So I would have 1085, and then my biggest number would be 1095. For question number 6, what is the range of this set of numbers? The largest minus the smallest. So my biggest number was 108, and my smallest was 52. So I could subtract 8 minus 2, which is 6. Now I couldn't subtract 0 minus 5, so I went to that 1, and that now becomes a 0. And now I can subtract 10 minus 5, which equals 5, giving me my answer of 56. Again, if you notice that you have any mistakes, please fix those with your pencil and eraser. So today's lesson, we're going to work on some subtraction strategies. A couple different ideas is one way to think about it is with base 10 blocks. So notice how if I was doing the problem 372 minus 157, I first have my 300 or my 3 flats. I have my 7 longs for my 70 and then my 2. And then I subtracted 157. So I took away 1 flat, took away 5 longs, and took away 7 cubes. Then looking at what's left, I can see that I have 215 left. That's one way to think about it. Another way to think about it is with the counting up method. So if I have a problem like 81 minus 46, I could start at 46 and I could count up until I get to 81. So you can see I have my 10, 20, 30, then 31, 32, 33, 34, and lastly 35, giving me my answer. One other way that you could solve is by using the trade first method. Trade first is also referred to as regrouping or borrowing or thinking about the traditional way. So if I have 81 minus 46, I can borrow from that 8 and change that to a 7, and I can then do 11 minus 6, which is 5, and 7 minus 4 is 3. Still getting the same answer of 35, just like in the problem where we were counting up. So boys and girls, the way that we're going to focus on today is the trade first method, is the traditional way where we are regrouping and where we are borrowing. These are just a couple other ways for thinking about some subtraction problems. So if you could look at page 269, in this page, we are going to do two different things. We're first going to find a ballpark estimate for each of the problems, and then we're going to solve using that trade first method. So if I have a problem like 37 minus 19, notice how I changed 37, I rounded that to 40, 19, I rounded that to 20, 40 minus 20 equals 20. And then when I solved with my trade first method, I changed that 3 to a 2, my 7 now became a 17, 17 minus 9 is 8, and then 2 minus 1 is 1, giving me my answer of 18. What I would like you to do is pause the video and solve the remaining 5 problems, and then press play when you're ready to hear the answer. All right, second graders, so we are done with problem number 1. So your ballpark estimate when we're working with the problem 28 minus 19, you would have rounded 28 to 30, and you would have rounded 19 to 20, giving you that ballpark estimate of 10. And then when I'm solving, so I change the 2 to a 1, my 8 becomes an 18. 18 minus 9 equals 9, and then 1 minus 1 is 0. Notice how I do not need to put that 0 there. I know that it would just be 9. So my answer again is 9. Let's look at number 2. So you should have rounded 30 minus 20 equals 10 because we had the numbers 31 minus 17. Now I traded, so my 3 now became a 2. My 1 is an 11. 11 minus 7 is 4. And 2 minus 1 is 1, giving me my answer of 14. For question number 3, for my ballpark estimate, I had 80 minus 60 equals 20. And I had 76 minus 59. So I noticed I couldn't do 6 minus 9, so I went over to the 7, changed the 7 to a 6. My 6 now becomes a 16. 16 minus 9 is 7, and 6 minus 5 is 1, giving me my answer of 17. And notice how close my actual answers are to these ballpark estimates. For question number 4, my ballpark estimate is 40 minus 30 equals 10. And I had the problem 35 minus 26. So I changed my 3 to a 2. My 5 becomes a 15. 15 minus 6 is 9. And then 2 minus 2 is 0. And again, I did not need to put the 0 in that place, giving me my answer of 9. And for our last one, I have 40 minus 30 equals 10. And so I'm going to solve. So I have 44 minus 27. So I know I can't solve 4 minus 7. So I went to the 4 next door, changed that 4 to a 3. This now becomes a 14. 14 minus 7 is 7. And then 3 minus 2 is equal to 1, giving me my answer of 17. If you have any questions, you can ask your classroom teacher. Otherwise, if you want more practice, you could make up more problems like this on the side. The last thing that we're going to do today is take a look at our math boxes. So for question number 1, and again, this is on page 270 for our math boxes. For question number 1, the perimeter is about how many centimeters? Now just to remind you, when we're finding the perimeter, you're going to want to use your template. You're going to want to line that up. Notice how I have my 0 on the one edge and my 4 is up at the top. So I know that this side is 4 centimeters. Now I'm going to keep turning that template so I measure all 4 sides. Once I have all 4 sides measured, then I can add those up. And again, I want to just say about how many centimeters it would be for all 4 sides. For question number 2, divide these circles. Divide the first one into half. Divide the second one into fourths. Once you have those divided, then you're going to compare using less than, greater than, or equal to. What is the value of each digit 4 in each number? What is the value of the digit 4 in each number? So if you're looking at the number 436, that 4 is worth 400. I want you to think about that when you're solving the other 3. For question number 4, how many dots are in this array? So you can see how many are going up and down, how many are going across, and how many dots you have in all. I had a $10 bill. I spent $5.23. How much change did I receive? Fill in the circle for the best answer. And for the last one, for number 6, if you have a 3 and a 6, you need to first figure out that mystery number. So think about what 3 times 6 equals, and then you are able to figure out your fact family triangle. All right, second graders, once you're all done, please take a picture and send that picture to Seesaw to your classroom teacher. We will see you next time.